Good morning, everybody. Today we are going to see two interesting topics. I'm going to share my screen to share a presentation. The two topics are morphology and syntax, the analysis of sentence structure. For syntax, we are going to see only an introduction. Okay, let's go. Morphology. What is morphology? Morphology is the branch of grammar which studies the structure of words. Here, it's important to know that morphology studies words and their parts. Morpheme. Morpheme is a minimal unit of meaning or grammar function that is central concern of morphology. Morphemes like prefixes and suffixes and base words are defined as the smallest meaningful units of meanings. This is very important. Morphemes are important for phonics in both reading and spelling, as well as in vocabulary and comprehension. Why use morphology? What is important to use morphology? Teaching morphemes unlocks the structures and meanings within words. So if we know the morphemes, we can know the meaning of a lot of words. We are going to see this in a moment. Teaching morphemes is very useful to have a strong awareness of prefixes, suffixes, and base words. These are often spelled the same across different words, even when the sounds change, and often have a consistent purpose or meaning. So you can improve your vocabulary meaningful if you know the meanings of a lot of morphemes. In this illustration, we can see the types of morphemes. The morphemes can be free and bound, can be derivational and inflectional, and you can find prefixes and suffixes. The most important types are free morphemes and bound morphemes. Free morphemes can stand alone as and words. Here we have some examples: dog, gentle, picture, and gem. Another free morphemes are license and father, and there are another examples. So the most important to know here is the morpheme have the morpheme has a meaning alone at its own word. In the case of free morpheme. In the case of bound morpheme, in the case of a bound morpheme, only occurs as part of a word. It means that the morpheme alone doesn't have a meaning. Some example, like S as in cat. Cat plus S form the word cats. Ed as in cramp plus ed, cramped. And as in an plus happy, unhappy. Miss as in miss plus fortune, misfortune. Er as in teach plus er, teacher. In the illustration, we can see another kind of morphemes. Those are derivational and inflectional. This is an important category because in the inflectional morphemes change what a word does in terms of grammar, but does not create a new word. In this slide, we can see it in a detail. Inflectional morphemes change what a word does in terms of grammar, but doesn't create a new word. For example, the word skip has many forms. Skip is the base form. Skipping is the present progressive because it's skip with double P plus ing is the present progressive or present continuous of the word. And skipped, you add ed and you have the past tense. The inflectional morphemes ing and ed are added to the base word skip to indicate the tense of the word. If a word has an inflectional morpheme, it is still the same word. This is very important. It doesn't create a new word. It is still the same word. Then only the base word skip will get its own entry into the dictionary. Skipping and skipped are listed under skip as they are inflections of the base word. Skipping and skipped don't get their own dictionary entry. It is important. Derivational morphemes are the opposite to the inflectional morphemes because derivational morphemes they do create a new word which gets its own entry in the dictionary. Derivational morphemes help us to create new words out of base words. Here we have an example. For example, we can create a new word from act by adding derivational prefixes. Example, re or en, and suffixes, or. Thus, out of act, we can get re plus act, react, and en plus act, enact, or the suffix o, or, so you have act, actor. In this moment, we are going to stop to share a little bit more. Okay, we are going to continue explaining the homework about the topic. So, in this moment, we understand the types of morphemes. To have a deeper understanding of this topic, the idea is that if you have in mind the meaning of free morphemes and bound morphemes, and I'm going to give you, and you know the meaning of inflectional morphemes and derivational morphemes, I'm going to give you the examples to form 5 different words with each one of these free morphemes, and to describe in English the meaning of these words. So you are going to look in your dictionary words with the word gentle, and so you are going to find the words, and you are going to write the words, and then you are going to describe the meaning of the word, and you are going to learn new different words with their base form, morpheme. Okay, we are going to continue with a very interesting topic, syntax, the analysis of sentence structure. But we are going to see only an introduction for today. One important goal of teaching English syntax to undergraduate students is to help students enhance their understanding of the structure of English in a systematic and scientific way. Basic knowledge of this kind is essential for the students to move on the next stage, in which they will be able to perform linguistic analysis for simple as well as complex English phenomenon. This is a part of a very interesting book, English Syntax and Introduction, of John Buck, Kim, and Peter Sales, that you can study at home, because in that book you can find all this in a you can find all this information in a detailed way to study at home, because today we are going to see only an introduction. A first topic very important to understand: the syntax and the analysis of the sentence structures. We begin with from words to major phrase types. This is all the logic of this topic, from words to major phrase types. Today we are going to see that. The study of English syntax is the study of rules, which generate an infinity number of grammatical sentences. So you have you need to have in mind that this topic is the study of rules. These rules can be inferred from observation about the English data. One simple mechanism we recognize is that in forming grammatical sentences, we start from words or lexical categories. This is the idea. These lexical categories then form a larger constituent phrase, and phrases go together to form a clause. A clause either is or is part of a well-formed sentence. So here we have word, phrase, clause, and sentences. So from words to major phrase types: word to phrase to clause to sentence. Here an example about this with clause. Each of sentences B and excuse me, no D, B and C. Excuse me. I here have to put it in the topic that we are in this moment. Okay, we are going to see that contains some words, some sentences contains more than one clause. In particular, with one clause embedded inside another. For example, you have a sentence. The weather is lovely today. Yes, this is a sentence, and you only can see a clause. But in B, in the example B, I am hoping that the weather is lovely today. You can see a clause inside the sentence. I am hoping that the weather is lovely today. And the other example, if the weather is lovely today, then we will go out. And you can find a clause inside the sentence, embed inside the other. This is important to have this in mind about the clause, about the phrase, about that structure. Okay, because typically we use the term clause to refer to a complete sentence, like an unit, but which may be part of another clause, as a subordinate or adverbial clause. Each of the sentences contains more than one clause. These examples, which one clause embed inside the other. So this is an important example to understand today. Here we are going to see another. Okay, to continue with the topic of syntax, we are going to see here the presentation again. Okay, to understand the analysis of sentence structure, it is very important to know the lexical categories. Here, we only have the basic lexical categories, and it is referring to meaning. N. What is the meaning of N? It's referring to an individual or entity. This is noun. Noun. B. B referring to an action. It's the verb. A referring to a property, like an adjective. An adverb referring to the manner, location, time, or frequency of an action. There are another lexical categories, but that are the basic categories. So, here we are going to see today an introduction to syntax 3. The meaning of S, what is the meaning of S? If someone can tell me. The meaning of S is sentence. A sentence is composed by a noun phrase and a verbal phrase. A noun phrase and a verbal phrase. A noun phrase can have a determiner and a noun. Here we see a noun referring to an individual or entity, but the most of the times you need, and in English you need, the determiner. So here you have the determiner, like a lexical category 2, the Republicans, determiner, a noun, therefore the noun phrase. The Republicans are the noun phrase, determinant and Republicans. And the other part of the sentence is the verbal phrase. The verbal phrase have adverb number 1, the may, and the verbal phrase can have another verbal phrase inside. This is very important. You can have a verbal phrase inside another verbal phrase. And the verbal phrase have another, a verb number 2, and a noun. So here you have the basic syntax 3 to understand the structure, the analysis structure of that. You have the sentence, you have the noun phrase, you have a verbal phrase. The noun phrase has the determiner, the noun phrase has a noun, the verbal phrase has a verb number 1, the verbal phrase here has a verbal phrase number 2, and the verbal phrase obviously has a verb, and in this case has a noun too. This is a constituents structure. Here in this other part of the slide, you can see the dependency structure. So you have the principal main structure, and here you understand the dependency structure, how that the structures goes in a detail to understand the syntax. Okay, my students, this is all for today. Please remember to study the book and to do the homework. The homework is about morphemes, and the homework to find the other meaning of the words. Another word to form another words with the base morphemes that I gave to do. We can refresh that here. Okay, and the other homework, here I share with you the book. This is the book that you should study to understand the syntax, because it's a very big topic. Today we only study an introduction, and for the other week we are going to see more complex syntax tree with adverbs, with adjectives, with prepositional phrase. So please read the book. Thank you very much. We see in the next session. Thank you very much to all of you. See you soon. And please ask me by the platform if you have any question.